All right, Melissa Tichy is standing by from our money desk. And Melissa, I understand that inflation has eased, but obviously food inflation is still stubbornly high. And I wonder how it looks in other parts of the world. Are we, the only ones, basically having a bad run in terms of our economy? And also, does it really translate to the Reserve Bank probably just giving us a bit of a break?
I've got bad news for you on that one. But let's quickly look at in the UK, we've got an 8.7% inflation rate. In Germany, 6.1%. USA is just above 4%. So we are still in the range. But I'll answer your question now on the Reserve Bank. But let's quickly have a look at our inflation at the moment. So it's good news for the South African economy. There are further signs that inflation is easing. Headline inflation in May has eased to 6.3% year on year. That's down from 6.8% in April. And this is the lowest reading since April 2022, when the rate was 5.9%. If we look at food inflation, it's still stubbornly high at about 12%, but it came down from record levels in March of 14.4%. So it was 14.3% in April. It came down quite a bit year on year to 12% there. Now, the high cost of food has been a burden for many South Africans, and I know we all feel it in our pockets. And as we can see that although it is easing, it still has a long way to go before we can feel some real relief. Now, you will see what I mean when you look at the price of certain and some everyday items, which continue to rise, albeit a bit slower. So I took Gouda cheese and onions and chicken. So onions, that was a very big increase there of 5.8%. And then cheese is at 7.8%. That went up from April to May. My apologies there. That should just be 5.8 and not 58. We all need onions for our pastas, hey? No, that's only 5.8%. My apologies. Like I said, Gouda cheese at 7.8%. And then a whole fresh chicken. I don't know if you also felt that the prices went up a bit over the past few months. 4.9% increase from April to May, and that's just month on month. And yes, it is a bit slower than previous months, but still, we still feel it in our pockets. So the chief economist at AgriSA, Khulani Siweya, says prices are being kept high, partly by power cuts which are affecting food producers.
Because of issues like load shedding, for example, the issues still remain, or rather the pricing impact is still there for the farmers or just for the value chain in this regard. If you note, for bread and cereal or vegetables and fruits, which are highly reliant on irrigation, that decrease was a bit softer than what we saw in other parts of that particular print. And this is because of just vegetables and fruits being highly reliant on irrigation. And irrigation is definitely dependent on electricity. Now, when you have load shedding, unfortunately, this means that then it affects the farmers' operations and essentially just creates a situation where we have constraints of supply because of farmers either not planting at the same level or just the quality and the quantity that's being produced has been slowed down. So that is just pushing prices higher.
Now, as far as interest rates are concerned, and to answer your question from earlier, Masego, the Reserve Bank is not likely to cut them soon because the inflation rate remains out of their target band of between 3 and 6%. In fact, another hike is still likely.
The Reserve Bank has come out and explicitly mentioned that in as much as they would like to see inflation within that particular target band, ideally they would want to see inflation anchored around the 4.5% mark. And we're still far off from that particular point. So I think going out into next month with the next decision, we'll probably see another interest rate hike and then just see how the inflation behaves with that coming on board. And probably if inflation then comes back into the band, they may then decide to pause. But I think a cut is still off the books from the Reserve Bank. And this is worrying for the economy and also for farmers, given the fact that a lot of farmers actually rely on debt in order for them to actually go on with their production. In the latest numbers that we saw from the department, we found that the sector is about 205 billion into debt, and most of this is used for production loans in this regard.